Obviously, we saw Dylan Sakura out there. How much do you remember about him from training camp, and what are you hoping he brings to the group?
You know what? I remember he had a good camp. He's a skilled guy. The reports out of Henderson are excellent. I also remember playing against him in the bubble. He played for Chicago against us in the bubble, and I thought he was pretty effective. He's got a handful of games under his belt at the NHL level, and should be pretty seamless transition.
Hold a moment for a few more questions to come through for Pete. Next, we'll go to Axel Daroma, NHL.com.
Hey, Coach, how important is that last stretch of about 10 games in the regular season to build up confidence for the playoffs?
Yeah, critical. I think it's a tried and true and tested truth that the teams, you have to be playing well down the stretch and going into the playoffs for the most part. There's the odd exception to the rule, but I think the teams that have success in the playoffs are usually playing well down the stretch. So that's our goal. And obviously to finish as high as we can in the standings. And, I anticipate that might take until the last day of the season. So we're going to have to be playing right to the end.
Next question for Pete goes to David Shane, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, David.
Hi, Pete. Just injury-wise, do you have any update in terms of Riley Smith and Keegan Colasar as well?
Neither available tonight.
Next, we'll go to Vince Sapienza, Channel 5, Las Vegas.
Hey, Vince.
Hey, Pete, just bouncing off that earlier question tonight, a point gets you guys in the playoffs. Just, I know you want to string more wins together and things like that, but just reaching that mark is, I know always the first goal.
Always the first goal. And you know what, hard to do in this league. And, and it is an accomplishment. I mean, we're not going to pat ourselves on the back for making the playoffs. That's not the end goal here, but it is an accomplishment, and it does take a good amount of work and dedication and perseverance to secure a spot. And, you look around the league, and every year there's a couple teams that, people pick, to go deep in the playoffs that stumble and don't get over that first hurdle. So, I like how we've gone about our business and make sure we took that first step and are on the verge of securing a spot in where we want to be, which is the playoffs.
Pete, thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you.
Hey, Alec, you guys can clinch a playoff berth with at least a point tonight. I know it's, not a shock that you guys are on the verge, but what does it actually mean to, be on the cusp of that accomplishment?
I actually didn't even know this until you just told me. So that might be my answer. I mean, while yeah, it's a great accomplishment, there's still a lot of hockey left. I don't really think that that's something that's on anyone's mind. I think that we have a valuable 2 points at hand tonight, and I think that's our focus. I think if you get ahead of yourself and start thinking about things like that, then I don't think that's very healthy. So I guess while it is a great accomplishment, I guess it's not really a focus and I didn't really even know about it.
Next question this morning goes to Jesse Granger, The Athletic.
Yeah, obviously down the stretch here, you kind of want to tighten your game up and sharpen things for the playoffs. Just what part of your game or maybe the team game are you guys focused on the most right now?
I think right now just putting together complete hockey games and sticking with our system. I think, throughout the year that you want to progress. I think that we've done that. I think we've gotten better. But like I said before, I think there's still a lot of work to be done. This is a tough league. Obviously, it's a tough division. You can jockey spots, not even play one night, and you can drop in the standing. So I think that, you got to be playing playoff hockey before you even get there. There's no switch to turn on. So I think just playing complete games, full 60 minutes. I mean, that's the kind of hockey you need in the playoffs. And getting contributions from everyone, obviously by now knows their role. Those are well established. And I think it's just a matter of executing that and continuing to get better and using this last, I don't know how many, 12, 13, 14 games left to get your game where it needs to be at in order to be successful in the playoffs.
We'll pause real quick. If there's any final questions for Alec Martinez, we'll go back to Ben Goat, Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, Alec. Dylan Coughlin has had an interesting last couple of games where he starts it forward, then moves back on the blue line with you guys. I guess what's it been like for you to see, a young guy like that kind of handle those different duties?
Well, he's handled it extremely well. I think that anytime you're put in that situation, it's it's difficult. Obviously, playing a position that you didn't necessarily grow up playing, you didn't enter the league at. I think it speaks to his natural instincts and the hockey mind that he possesses. I think it's it's been fun to watch to see a guy take advantage of a tough situation and turn it into a really good opportunity. And he's he's played really well for us this year. And I have my utmost confidence in him that he's going to keep it going and he's going to keep moving forward.
Next question,
no pun intended.
Next question for Alec goes to Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Alec, I wanted to ask about coming over at a trade deadline. Your situation last year was a little different, obviously, with the COVID pause, but a guy like Matthias Janmark this year. I guess I'm curious, how long does it take before you kind of feel part of the team and less of more like a hired gun just kind of coming over and then you kind of feel a real part of the team?
I think right away I felt like I was a part of the team. I obviously can't speak for Yanni, but I think that we've done everything that we can to make him feel like home, and he's reciprocated. He's played really, really well for us. He brings a lot of energy. He can do a little bit of everything. He can skate, he can shoot, he can make plays, he can play defensively, take draws. You name it. But I think that it speaks to the quality of people that we have in this room that, I can say that I never felt like that. I felt like I was a part of it as soon as I got here. And, it's an awesome group. And I think, when you have a good group of guys like that, you tend to have that feeling pretty quickly.
Last question for Alec Martinez goes to Willie Ramirez, Associated Press.
Hey, Alec, I think we asked you this when you arrived last year and possibly out of the bubble training camp into the playoffs, in terms of what this organization, the makeup of it, the complexion of it reminds you of a Stanley Cup franchise. But right now in crunch time, and as well as this team is playing, is there anything that you see in this team, the identity right now, that reminds you of Stanley Cup runs you've been through where, you obviously have confidence in your teammates and believe how strong this team is, but maybe certain intangibles that it has right now, that sort of it factor that you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I've been asked this question a fair amount. I guess, my answer is the same. I think the on-ice talent that we have is apparent, and that's easy to see, just by watching games and through video and things like that. But I think the things that you don't see are a lot of the intangibles, and one of that being that guys genuinely like each other. Guys, have a lot of fun hanging out. Obviously this year being a little different, you can't get together away from the rink. You can't, have those hangouts that are, smaller than 6 feet apart. So it's been a little bit different, but I think definitely those, any team that I've been a part of that's been successful, there's been a lot of chemistry in the room, and the guys have genuinely liked each other and hang out and have that camaraderie. And I think that, we have that across the board. Sometimes it's sometimes it's a kick in the rear to each other when we need it. Sometimes it's a laugh when you're, gripping things a little bit too tight. So I would say that, the stuff off the ice is definitely, one of the first things I noticed here. And, it's awesome to be a part of.
Alec, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Hey, Tomas. You guys need one more point and you're guaranteed to be in the playoffs. Just what's the feeling like with you guys so close to that accomplishment?
That's obviously every team's goal to make a playoff. So I think it doesn't matter if we get there tonight or the other night. Most important thing is to get there and then have a run.
Next question goes to Justin Emerson, Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Tomas, I wanted to ask about Nicholas Waugh. You guys kind of play similar games, similar roles on the team. I'm curious what you've kind of seen out of him and if you guys talk at all about just kind of the seasons you both are having this year.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. He's a pretty good guy offensively and defensively too. So he can kill penalties. He can obviously play a PP too. So he scored some big goals last couple of games. And I think it's always important if all lines trying to help a team to produce some points, especially the bottom six guys. So it's huge.
Next question this morning goes to Jesse Merrick, Channel 3, Las Vegas.
Hey, Tomas, with 11 games left, what areas of your guys' kind of team game are you looking to tighten up before playoffs start?
Yeah, it's important games. We obviously want to finish first in a division to have a home advantage for the playoffs, and it's been a good year so far, and we need to finish strong and keep playing our game, and it'll be good.
Final question for Tomas Nosek goes to David Shane, the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Tomas. Why has Matthias Janmark been such a good fit with you guys so far, on the ice especially?
I think he will fit in every team, that kind of player. He's pretty fast, pretty skilled. He can play wing and centerman, doesn't matter. He can kill penalties, play PP, so he can play every situation on the ice, and his speed and skills are. I think every team he will be like that. So,
Tomas, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Hey, Robin, you guys need one more point to clinch a playoff spot. I know it's not the ultimate goal for you guys, but what does it mean to be on the verge of doing that?
I mean, it's obviously a testament to how we've been playing this year. It's been a weird season, but the guys battle through it, and we played hard every game, and so it's obviously it's just testament to our season so far, but obviously that's not the end goal.
Next question this morning goes to Justin Emerson, the Las Vegas Sun.
Hey, Robin, I wanted to ask about being traded at the trade deadline. Obviously, your situation last year was a little bit different with the COVID pause, but a guy like Matthias Janmark, I guess I'm curious kind of how long it takes when you come to a new team to kind of feel part of the team and not just a hired gun. Is that right away, or is there an adjustment period? Or I guess what's that like when you come to a new team at the deadline?
Well, I mean, I've been through it quite a bit, so the easiest answer to that is it depends on which team you go to. Every team is different. Talking about this team, it was really easy. A great group of guys here, very welcoming, great organization, all that stuff. You felt right at home right away. So it's obviously always depending on what human beings are involved.
Next question for Robin goes to David Shane with the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Robin. We're getting down the stretch here. You're obviously playing pretty well without, trying to create any sort of controversy or anything. How are you approaching the last little bit here? Is it important for you to, impress Pete? Is it important for you to start game one of the postseason? Or are you just kind of playing your game and however it shakes out?
Well, to get away from the controversies is hard. That you guys have been creating from day one. But you know, behind the scenes, me and Fleury, we've turned into pretty good friends, and you know, obviously everyone wants to play, but as long as the team's winning, I don't care. You know, I go out there and do my best every night I play, and he does the same thing, and whatever happens, man. It's a team sport. I've been on losing teams. That's miserable. You know, we're a winning team here. It's, you know, a great group of guys, and whoever goes in net, you know, we support each other, and then the rest of the controversy is not in our room. It's with you guys. So, but you know, I feel good about my game. He feels good about his game, and that's a great problem to have.
Next question goes to Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press.
Hey, Robin, I remember after the first start when you came out of the concussion protocol, you had said that you felt good, felt healthy. It was just a matter of timing. Obviously, 8-0-1 since then. To us, watching you play, you're creating W's. Internally for you, how do you feel overall as far as your timing is concerned? And do you feel at this point you're back 100% physically?
Yeah, I mean, you're never 100%. I mean, it's just starting to get better and better. There's still things to clean up, detail, stuff like that. I mean, this is a great team again, you know, and as I said, I've been on some teams that's not as great. So it's, there's always things to get better at, stuff like that. You know, since come back from the concussion, you know, I felt, whatever people say, I felt good before, not as good as usual because of circumstances, how season started up, the first 5 games of the season, but even last year on playoffs, I mean, it felt pretty good. So, I mean, it's just fun winning, and just keep trying to do that.
Reminder for media, if there's any final questions, you can raise your hand now. We'll go to Jesse Merrick, Channel 3, Las Vegas.
Hey, Robin, you mentioned obviously the fact that, you know, you and Fleury both want to play, but I'm curious, you know, with the rotation, what are the things that you've kind of enjoyed about that this year?
That we're winning. It doesn't matter who's in net when we're winning. So there's not much more to say about that. You know, it's we're winning.
Final call for questions for Robin Lehner.
Well, another thing, you know, I was going to address a couple of things here without stepping on anyone's toes or whatnot. I feel like responsibility to say something here for myself and for other people throughout the league, and I understand that I will have haters and whatnot, no matter what stand on the subject I am on these things. But a month or so ago, when I got back from my concussion, you know, we got approached to take the vaccine, and basically how that turned out was we were shown, guys, the vaccine is available. If you take the vaccine, X amount of players, leaders in this team or around the league takes the vaccine, new set of rules are gonna come out. We were shown the NBA protocols, promised the NBA protocols to get back some type of normalcy. And I understand my track record. I mean, I talk against COVID. You know, COVID is dangerous, been crazy thing for everyone. But we were approached and promised things to change for our league if we got vaccinated. So after our second vaccination, 10 days after, we were gonna start enjoying life again, because people don't really know. We've been in total isolation. We can't get out of our house. We can't go out of our hotel. We can't do anything. And it's been over a year now, and no one ever talks about the mental health impact about that stuff. And You guys might not have the statistics. I don't have the statistics. I just know people reach out to me throughout the league, throughout, normal people in all day life reach out to me, and I know, and I've seen the consequences of a lot of these things. And to be promised something's going to change, to take a vaccine, where some players were on the verge of even taking it. I was one of them that I wasn't sure, but I took it for my mental health. And when we did it, now they changed. Now they said it's not happening. I think that's wrong for first. But then I have a couple of calls with the league and with the NHLPA yesterday. And this is why I want to talk today, which makes me furious. And I don't care what happens to me or whatever people are going to do to me in the league or whatnot. I don't know. But they told me yesterday that they're surveying all the teams to see who has taken the vaccine and who has not taken the vaccines. And they're not going to change the rules for us as players until all the teams have have the vaccines at the same time. So it's not a competitive edge. And that made me go crazy, to be honest, because that shows me that now I've taken the vaccine, and it's been a tremendously hard time I can speak for myself personally throughout this COVID thing with my mental health condition, being in isolation, getting these rules. I can't do anything by being in my home all the time, being in a hotel room all the time. And I talk to players around the league that calls me, and also people I've helped through the program and get help and all that stuff. I know more than a lot of people knows what's going on. And they're talking about competitive edge instead of human lives. Competitive edge, human lives. We're humans too. And not taking away everyone out society, doctors, everyone that had to sacrifice stuff, tremendous to them. It hasn't been fair. We've seen a lot of things going on. It's not been great. Some stuff, got to give credit's due. NHL's done some really good things too. I love this league. I don't want to destroy anything. I want this league to do good. But when I present that you put competitive edge, because some teams that has gone through the process still has to go through this mental health craziness that is a fact. It's killing a lot of people in COVID too. And we might see 3 to 5 years, how many people is getting on drug addictions, how many people is going to commit suicide, how many people losing their jobs, businesses, all these types of things. And it talk about competitive edge instead of human lives. It made me really disappointed and emotional last night. And it was a lie to our face that do this and you will get this, and now it's not happening because of competitive edge. Where was competitive edge for Vancouver Canucks when they wanted, 3.5 weeks to get one practice and play the best team, one of the best teams in the league in Toronto? What was it, like 2 games and 3 nights afterwards, what they had planned? Well, I mean, competitive edge when Washington suspended took away 3 of their best players, and they still played. We lost 1 player and they quarantined us for 1 week. Where was the competitive edge? It's the bubbles, bubble in Edmonton was stuck in a courtyard with a Starbucks in our rooms for a long time. And I talked to so many people in a bubble that started experience mental health stuff. While in Toronto, they were kayaking, doing all types of things. Don't talk to me about competitive edge. This is human lives, and people are struggling with this stuff a lot in society, and we are humans as everyone else. And so there's a twofold problem for me here. The first one is we get promised something to take something that not necessarily everyone wanted. So that was a lie, blatant lie. Second, to put competitive edge over human lives in terms of going back. And I'm not saying we're going out to a party or whatnot, but we had a meeting when the season started at the beginning of camp that pretty much told us, can't go outside of our house, can't do anything, can't go to the grocery store, you can't do nothing on the road, you can take a meal room, go out, sit in your room, don't be with your teammates, don't do this, don't do that. No one thinks about the mental impact. I listened to the interview Miller had the other day, if bravely that he was, and everyone picked up on, oh, the COVID, how that impact them, and it was dangerous, all that types of things. But how many people zoned in on when he talked that he's been struggling mentally about this stuff? What does anyone do about that? And don't get me wrong, I've given a lot of credit where credit is due to the league doctors. I owe them part of my life. They've done a lot of great things. This is not on them. This is a league as a whole. This is about liability. Everything is being taken, decisions about liability and how they not can get sued or whatnot instead of the health of the person. And there are people struggling. I know people will say, oh, you're millionaires and this and that, you're crying. What about these guys? We care about that too, man. No matter what people think, this is a society problem, but when government, corporations, NHL, whoever are taking decisions in terms of these irrelevant things like competitive edge over the human being, it's not okay, man. And I had to say something about that because I'm not alone in thinking this. And I think it's totally unacceptable. Look at the NBA, NFL, and the other leagues. They've already implemented these things. And now we are vaccinated and we're still going to be trapped in a prison. And I can talk about myself being a bipolar 1. It's been hard. I'm not saying it's hard for me or anyone else. But one of the biggest things to being bipolar, they tell you not to do, is isolation, self-isolation. I've tried to figure out a way for me to, as good as possible, perform, which I have done. It doesn't mean that I've been doing good personally, and I'm not perfect. It's been hard, but I'm not talking just about myself here. It's for everyone. We have kids. You look at schools, you look at kids' mental health. You see, for Christ's sakes, you see 10, 12, 11-year-olds talking about suicide, committing suicide, all that stuff. The mental health impact in the world is going to be shown over the next 3 to 5 years. And those statistics are not just on who kills themselves for committing suicide right now. I had suicides in my family. I know what it's about. People develop things during isolations like this, like drug abuse, domestic violence, financial issues that cause bad anxiety, leads to depression, all these things. Traumatic stress leads to bipolar and all that type of things. So a lot of these things we might not see today in statistics, but we'll see it 3 to 5 years exactly what's happening. And I'm not saying don't focus on COVID. We have to, of course, but if you're vaccinated, and we have good doctors around us. We're in the NHL. We have some of the best doctors around us too that keeps telling us the statistics when you're vaccinated, all these types of things. Some point we got to start looking at the mental health of people around us, not just the NHL, but everyone in society, and see how can we start getting back to normalcy, because the problem is going to be huge, but being lied to us about things changing to kind of force us to take the vaccine, unacceptable. And to now when we have taken the vaccine to have the excuse of saying, nah, we're not changing because of competitive advantage. It's outrageous. So that's what I had to say today, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks to all the members of the media on the call as well. That'll conclude the team's morning skate media availability. I'll send out recordings shortly. Thanks, everyone.